Hey there, welcome back to the While We Were Working podcast. It's been a while, but I'm your host, Joey Price, President and CEO of Jumpstart HR, and now published author of a book called The Power of HR, How to Make an Organizational Impact as a People Professional. I'm getting back into the swing of things, and I figured I'd bring one of my newest teammates along, Tammy Nutt, who is a VP of Research at our new research division, Aspect43. There's been so much that's happened since we paused on episodes. And this episode is to kind of catch us up on all things that are new over at Jumpstart and with Aspect 43. So Tammy, how you doing? Tell the people who you are and where you live and all that fun stuff.
Very good. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited about it. So, I am Tammy Nutt and have been with Aspect 43 for about 3 years now. Prior to that, I was an HR practitioner for almost 20 years. And so I live in Waco, Texas, my fabulous hometown that I love dearly. And I'm with my husband, my son, my two dogs, and just love to do research and talk about HR and HR technology.
Yeah, and I've seen you do that so well. One of the new things over at Jumpstart that's been really cool is this year we acquired an organization called Aspect 43, which Tammy is a part of. And I'm so grateful to my friend Sarah White, who is the founder of that organization and has now transitioned into a really cool job with SAP Success Factors, and we're thrilled for her. And Tammy, I've seen you in rooms with large tech firms, with startups, and you do a really awesome job of talking about HR technology, but you do it in a way that's got a particular focus. What is the Aspect 43 Tammy Nutt perspective when you're evaluating HR tech products?
Yes, we do have a particular perspective. So, what we do is we really focus on the buyers of HR tech. So, HR professionals, IT, anybody who is using and buying HR technology. So, we do research so that we understand what they like, what they're frustrated with, why they're looking at HR technology, what it's not doing for them, how it is working. And so we do this through an annual survey called the State of HR Technology or State of HR Tech. And that helps us have data driven insights. And then obviously, we always love the opportunity to talk to practitioners to get to hear stories from them. But this gives us some really good quantitative data that we can then talk to companies that make all of this and be like, hey, here's what they want, help them. And so that's kind of our goal, and kind of how we go about doing that. We also personally, I am always going to look at things from a specific perspective because I have a law degree in labor and employment law. And so, as I told Joey when when we started working on things, I'm like, compliance is my love language, and so I'm always going to be like, my antenna are up, and I'm always hunting and talking about and looking for compliance, but in a very practical, usable, how does this actually impact people's lives kind of way. And so I always kind of throw that in there too.
No, I love it. I love it because compliance, it's more than just checking a box. It really is kind of the framework or the sandbox, so to speak, of how we're supposed to relate to one another as colleagues, as business to employee, as business to world. And so when people start crashing out in that sandbox and doing crazy things, you kind of want to help bring people back. So that's really cool that compliance is at the heart of what you do. And I'm super thrilled to now be a part of these conversations and complement your voice and your perspective and bring that sort of executive perspective to our research. And so that means attending analyst presentations, being a part of demos and briefs, and just spreading the good news about the importance of that alignment between the HR technology vendor and the HR technology buyer and practitioner. So all fun things, all good. It's been a busy couple of weeks for us recently. What are some things that you've been excited about that we've been working on?
Yes. So it has been nonstop ever since the beginning of the year, for sure. We released our talent experience market landscape guide back in January. And then we recently released just last this week, I think. The days are turning into weeks for me. We just released our talent acquisition market landscape guide. And the great thing about our guides is that they're completely free to the market. So that anyone can go onto our website, download it. You don't have to give us any information or anything. You just go download the PDF. And what our guides do, we don't do any kind of ratings or rankings. There's a lot of great ratings and rankings already out there. What we really do is we look at more of what is happening, for example, with talent acquisition, what is happening around hiring in the world that is relevant to hiring people. Like, what is going on? What are the trends? What's happening with the economy, with generations, with work, all of those types of things. We talk a little bit about that to kind of give everybody context. And then we talk a little bit about the business impact, because we know that anything having to do with your people impacts your business. And so we do a lot of research on how that is happening and where it is happening and what those statistics are that are important and helpful and meaningful to business leaders, CEOs, finance officers, anything like that, really just trying to help to build that picture out and connect those dots. And then we do the tech stack. We are known for our bubble charts, because the way we do the tech stack is we show all of the core solutions, and then we do the bubbles for all of the point solutions. And then we define everything, because maybe you hear about a technology and you're like, oh, that is, that's okay. We're going to tell you so that you at least know what it is and whether or not you're interested in learning more about it. And so we include that in there as well. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
open. And then we just launched our annual State of HR Tech survey. So it is live and ready for people to take.
yeah. And this quarter has been so fast and furious that we also launched our new subscription.
Yes,
And
we did.
so you want to talk to people about the subscription and who it's for and why we do it.
Absolutely. So we do have a subscription. It is for HR technology solution providers, media, PR firms, organizations, associations, to be able to subscribe to Aspect 43. And what that gives them is the full results of the State of HR Tech survey. So they get all the data, sliced, diced, analyzed, and available for their use, and they get included as a sponsor for that, as well. That also happens. We also do an annual strategy session with all of our subscribers to talk about what we're seeing in the market and in our research, and how that impacts their work and their business and their products. We also, as part of that State of HR Tech survey, companies or organizations can actually get custom in buying insights, where we give them the opportunity to basically run this survey, but specifically for their customers, prospects, or audience, and gain some of those insights. And so our subscribers get a full report on that as well. And they get all of that great data that's really tailored to them. And then we get do things like this. We do webinars, we do podcasts, we do briefings. They get priority for to brief us on what they're doing. We give them first shot at sponsoring all of our research or paper or anything that we're doing that might be relevant for them and their work. So there's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And so, if you want to learn more about Aspect 43, check out our website, aspect43.com. All of the insights and reports that Tammy mentioned are there. And if you need to connect with us if you are on any side of the equation, the contact infos are on that website too. Are you excited about any upcoming travel or conferences? Where can you spot Aspect 43? I know I'm excited to be traveling to Philadelphia this week to learn more about Phenom and attend I Am Phenom, and super excited that my youngest daughter is a gymnast. Um, One of the keynotes is Simone Biles, so I get to hear from her and get some inspiration from her. But where will folks see you on the conference and analyst and user day journeys this
Yes, it is kicking off and for our spring season. And so I'm sad I'm not going to be with you in Philadelphia at I Am Phenom, but my family's heading to spring break, which I'm going to enjoy. But shortly after that, I'm going to be heading to the iSolved Analyst event, Analyst Connect event. So excited to get to see all of my friends there, as well as get to see what they have been working on. I've had a few little sneak peeks here and there, and it's going to be good. So I'm ready to see it all together. And then later on in the spring, we'll be at Unleash America in Vegas, and so we'll get to catch up with everybody there. It's like one of the best festivals of HR in the Americas. And then after that, I'll be going to Work Human Live. And so happy to get to do that. I got to go to it here in Austin last year,
Yeah.
which was fun because I mean, it's, you know, my town. It's my at least my state, not my town.
Yeah.
So
Not
I
too
was
far
like,
away.
okay, we gotta go get barbecue. Like this is what we're going to Denver this year, and so would love to have folks come and join us there. It is a fantastic event. It's really fun and such great information for HR practitioners and fantastic speakers. And then we are also headed to meet with our friends at UKG and see what they've been working on. They've got a lot of things. We got to see some stuff that they were working on in the fall. So I'm looking forward to getting that update this spring. And then we are also headed to TA Tech, which is going to be in Oceanside, California. I'm excited about that one as well. We're going to get to meet with a lot of our TA vendors and solution providers. It's just a great opportunity, and we'll be sure to share the cool things that we get to see there. And then after that, I'm heading back to Vegas to the iSolved Partners Connect event. And so me and a few of the other analysts are gonna be there to be speaking at an analyst panel and get to talk a little bit about what we're seeing and what's happening and all those sorts of fun things. So that one's fun too, because I get to present with friends, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And of course, we'll be at HR Tech in the fall. So
Absolutely. Already got it on the calendar.
definitely, and I'll be there as well as some other stops that you've mentioned. So it's a fun time. It's a busy time for us at Aspect 43, and I'm super thrilled for everything that this year will hold. Such an important time in technology right now, and not only understanding the relationship between people and technology, but technology products and those who buy, and understanding why they buy it. So having a lot of fun helping vendors navigate that journey. Another cool thing that I'm super pumped about is my book release.
I know.
Yeah, it's been such a long time coming. I mean, I have like both the sigh of relief that it's published and done, but then also it's like what next? Like what does the book unlock now that it can get in the hands of folks. And so super, super thrilled to have been on this journey and now being a published author. It's just such a super cool thing.
I can't wait to hear the stories of how people put it into practice every day. That I think that's going to be the what next part of it, is getting to see all of your thoughts and research and energy and everything that you've worked for getting in people's hands and seeing how they turn that into changing things or doing things better or enjoying what they're doing better in different and new ways, having an impact on people's work. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to hear the stories from that. So what led you to write The Power of HR? And what is kind of the if everybody was going to take one thing away from it, what do you want to be sure that they take away?
Oh man, the one takeaway I have for everyone is that HR leaders have more power than they give themselves credit for. Considering the fact that we literally touch everyone who walks in, everyone who walks out, what they are compensated, how they learn, how they grow, how they interact with one another. HR is incredibly influential to just how an organization runs and the values that the organization holds and carries out. So that'd be my one takeaway is, claim your power, HR leader, because you have it. It's there. You may have overlooked it, but it's there, I promise you. And the book will show you how. And then, you asked me, why did I write the book? I feel like I always had the idea of a book in me, but I didn't quite feel like I had the lived experience to justify writing a book for the masses. And so as I've grown as a HR practitioner and then transitioning to an executive in the HR leadership space and just having, at this point, almost 2 decades of a vantage point in the transitions that HR has had since I've joined it as a young professional and seeing us navigate, recessions and presidential swings and the pandemic. And I just said, hey, there's a unspoken voice in this conversation of HR leadership and strategy. And I just raised my hand and said, I think that's me. And so having a great partner with Kogan Page, who's our publisher, they gave the opportunity to speak my voice and impact not only US HR pros, but international HR pros as well. And so I wrote it because I always live by that Steve Jobs quote of wanting to put a ding in the universe. And I feel like this book will put a ding in the way that we as HR leaders have confidence in ourselves and the roles that we play. And if it gets in the hands of your CEO, they can hold you accountable to flexing your power as well for the good of the organization. So I just wanted to add value and bring more thought to more transformative thought to how we do HR.
Yeah, that's great. So what are you mentioned getting it in the hands of CEOs and holding HR professionals accountable to impacting the organization. What are some of the ways that HR professionals can become more strategic leaders within their organization?
Yeah, I look at that in many ways, but the two most important are how are you influencing your executive leadership team to make good decisions and consider compliance and have a people focused view on ROI. But then I think about all of the employees who every day they're saying yes to your company, they're saying yes to their compensation package, they're saying yes to the opportunities that you're creating in your organization. And you want to be strategic and impactful on their behalf as well. And so, HR leaders need to have the savvy to lead in the boardroom and influence the boardroom, but also to influence the break room as well. And so it takes a certain set of skills and values that the right HR folks have. And I talked to many mentors in research and preparation for this book whom you'll get to hear their voice and perspective. But it's influencing the break room, influencing the boardroom. Those are two ways where HR leaders should have impact.
Absolutely. So there's things are moving and work is changing so quickly these days, and it has been for a while. It feels like we haven't had a chance to catch our breath.
Yeah.
And so with us here as well as HR in general for several years. So with kind of all of these, the as fast as things are changing, and especially with like AI and hybrid versus remote versus on site, like what are some ways that HR professionals can kind of stay ahead of that curve? Can they be informed and be ready rather than be kind of caught off guard?
Yeah. Well, see, I love this question because it speaks to the answer of why it makes sense for a relationship of Jumpstart HR and Aspect 43 is because Aspect 43's research helps inform HR practitioners about trends, opportunities, comparing the products and product categories, and really helping HR leaders identify what is the best fit for the tool, what tools are the best fit for the context of my organization. And I'm writing this book to help the HR leaders level up their mastery of that strategic perspective. And so you ask, how can HR leaders stay ahead? I think it's following our voices. Tammy, you on the research front and me on the HR thought leadership front, and the information that we share for free on websites, but also the book, which obviously has a cost, but it's worth it. I guarantee you, it's worth it in the sense that you have great research that went into the book, great strategic thought that went into the book, and this has been vetted not only by a person with a dream and beliefs, right, but Kogan Page had to have some insight and say, okay, this tracks. This is where the market is going. We believe in you, Joey. We believe in the manuscript. We believe in the voices that are represented in the book. And so I think you'll find, similar to a peer-reviewed journal article, you'll find that the book has been vetted with credibility to help you as an HR leader succeed. But there are many, many voices out there who are great. The most important thing is just to lean into what's changing on the legal landscape, what's changing in the technology landscape, what is the sentiment of your people in your organization and how that's changing, what's keeping your executives up at night, and how can you respond as a leader to help your organization answer those heartaches and things that are keeping them up at night. And honestly, most importantly, being true to yourself and figuring out, what do I want for my HR career? What type of legacy do I want to create? And am I in an environment where I have the tools, resources, and inspiration to make that happen? And so I think if you cover your bases with those areas, you'll learn quite a bit.
Absolutely. There is just so much going on, and there's so many great resources that are available to help HR professionals stay ahead. But it's not only just consuming those resources, it's then turning that into strategic action and taking some action there. So let's say somebody gets your book, they read it, they close it, they're like, man, that's the best book ever. They close it, they put it on their desk because they're going to reference it later. And what do they do? What is something that they can do right after reading the book to really take action and start having an impact?
Yeah, no, I love it. Great question. So the book is structured in 10 different chapters that give you 10 different specific areas of importance for the modern HR professional. And the book is structured in such a way where the goal is to future-proof your success. So it's not necessarily tied to what's the right tool to use, what's the right brand to use. It's more about what is the right frame of mind and what's the right perspective to approach your business challenges, your HR challenges, your recruiting challenges, your DEI challenges, your comp and benefits challenges, and so that you approach the challenge with the right frame of mind, and then you can identify what's the right tool to use. So it's a very strategy first approach that helps you level up how you're tackling your problems. But then also there are case studies with practical questions to support the case studies that are in the book. And then there are, I like to call them checklist questions or check-in questions on a weekly basis, quarterly basis, and annual basis to help you ask the right questions about the environment that you're in so that it's not Joey giving you the answer, but it's Joey coaching you through the book to find the answer on your own. And so I find that that's the most empowering way for people to arrive at decisions they feel confident about is just help walking them to, a source of truth, but they're doing their own legwork to make it happen. So it's filled with practical next steps that people can take, whether they read the book straight through or they do kind of like a chicken soup for the soul kind of thing where they pick a topic of interest today and then they put the book down, but then next week they got another challenge. And so they pick up that chapter and they read it.
That's great. That's always so helpful because so many times we don't have time to sit down and read from front to back. But even if we do, there's stuff happens and you're like, "Oh my goodness, how do I manage this?" And so being able to just kind of reference that on an ongoing basis. I have a feeling I'm going to need some post-it notes and like tag some chapters as I'm going through it. So I love what you said about it being about helping people like kind of future proof their role in their career. I think that's so important right now because things are changing so fast. I was reading blog the other day and they were talking about how they asked like a 20-year-old, I think it was Jason Aberbrook. He asked a 20-year-old what he was interviewing her and he was like, what do you want? What do you want to be doing? What job do you want to be doing in 5 years? And her response was, it hasn't been created yet.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. Like, and so I think that's the thing that's the mindset we have to get into. And I think that's really hard when you're trying to ensure people get paid and that their benefits are good and that they're having a good working relationship and work gets done. Like it's hard to have that, but we've got to put that frame around everything. And I love that this will help us to start moving in that direction.
Yeah, no, and I'm a big fan of Jason, and I love that came up because it speaks to the reality of HR, where whether you realize it or not, there's a major shift that happened over the last couple of years where you're no longer managing HR to tend to status quo. You have been forced into the great unknown to lay new frameworks and use tried and true principles to create the new reality. So for a 20-year-old to say, I want a job in 5 years that doesn't exist yet, that is not hyperbole. That is not dreaming. That is reality. And truth be told, there will be something about all of our jobs that exist in 5 years that doesn't exist now. So we have to be proactive on the forefront of figuring out how do we lead in that new normal and how do we lay down pavement for a bridge to somewhere that we don't even know where it's going to be. So the book will definitely help with that as
Yeah.
well.
Well, and the thing too is that it's not only is HR the unknown, but whatever organization you work in, you've got to help your organization get ready for that too and equip them for that. You've got to help your managers understand this things are going to shift and change. How do we help them be adaptable in that way and how do we help them think strategically as well, but we can only do that if we're doing it ourselves. So I think
That's it.
HR's got to be the model. So
That's it. That's it.
yeah.
We can't accelerate something that we have no experience with. And so it starts at home. It starts with yourself. It starts with your team. And if you're an HR department of one, more power to you. It starts with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's harder and easier. You just have to do it yourself.
You can
You
just
got to get yourself on board every morning.
set your own goals, your own KPIs, your own
Yep. Yep. I've been there,
elections.
done that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited wherever
me too.
wherever the road takes me with as far as maybe there are SHRM chapters out there that want to have a intimate opportunity to speak with me or for me to talk about what's in the book or conference planners who are looking for speakers. The door is open to have those conversations and bring more power to the HR department in a time that we really need it the most. And that's not hyperbole. So,
Absolutely.
so super, super thrilled. And I'm excited to work with you, Tammy.
I'm excited working with you too. It's been so fun so far already. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited about what both of our perspectives, like when we bring our two perspectives together, the way that moves the research forward, the way that moves the conversation forward. We just it's been so fun already.
Yeah. 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 So much fun. I know we've got to get back to work. But it's been a great pod, great chatting with you. I know this won't be your last time on the pod. So for those of you who are tuning in, make sure that you are following Tammy on LinkedIn because she shares her insights. I share my insights as well. So make sure you follow me on LinkedIn. And if you're interested in learning more about Aspect 43, the research and even opportunities to provide strategic alignment or content for your vendor brand, you can visit us at aspect43.com. And of course, the HR consulting is over at jumpstart-hr.com. So, Tammy, I hope you enjoy some brisket later today or something that, a true Texan would enjoy.
Always.
And until next time, it was great. It was great chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.